Welcome to the second episode of In the Game. We've got news, highlights. We'll send it out to Priscilla Riojas for our fan zone, and then later we'll catch up with Zamal Nixon in our Cougar Athlete of the Week in our Cougar Corner segment.
Hi, I'm Robert Guerrero. Let's get started with softball news. The Lady Cougs start their season ranked number 1 in CUSA. Pitcher Donna Bourgeois has been put on the watch list for the USA Player of the Year. And the girls started off their season 3-1 after defeating Southern Illinois, Ohio, and Stephen F. Austin and losing their only game against 8th-ranked Michigan at the Houston Hilton Plaza Invitational.
Meanwhile, the men's basketball ended their 5-game losing streak against Tulane on Saturday at home as they beat the Green Wave 79-68.
In women's basketball, the team remains undefeated in Conference USA play. Courtney Taylor has earned her 3rd Player of the Week honor this season, 8th overall in her career. Roxana Button has earned the Capital One Academic All-District honors.
Meanwhile, the 2011 football schedule was released. Headlining some of the home games are a season opener and rematch against UCLA from last year, an October 8th matchup against ECU in a rematch of the 2009 Conference USA Championship, and crosstown rival comes to Robertson Stadium on October 29th.
Let's go to some highlights of girls and guys basketball.
February 1st, your Cougs hosted the Thundering Herd of Marshall into Hofheinz Pavilion, and they say the best kind of offense is a good defense. That was U of H's motto early on. Good defensive play led to easy buckets on the other end. Tight game throughout. Nobody led by more than 7. The game included 11 ties and 13 lead changes. Cougs would trail at halftime 35-33. Then in the second half, Nixon trying to keep the Cougs in it. The layup and 1. That would cut the lead down to 2. Next play down. Nixon going to drive and lay it in with the left hand. That would tie the game. But a late offensive rebound and putback by Marshall would give them the lead and ultimately the victory as the Cougs lose a heartbreaker by 1. 62-63 was the final.
Coming into the game, the Cougs were riding a 5-game losing streak. They faced off against the Tulane Green Wave here at Hofheinz Pavilion. Mo McNeil, Alanis Harris, Zamal Nixon, Adam Brown, and Kendrick Washington were the 5 Cougs who stepped up big to score in double digits to end the losing streak. Zamal Nixon led the team with 17 points, 5 assists, and 4 steals. Maurice McNeil had 15 points and 11 rebounds. And Kendrick Washington came off big off the bench with 10 points and 7 rebounds and only 15 minutes to play. The Cougs shot a total of 51.9% from the field and led by as many as 17 points. In the end, the Cougs got the win 79-68 over the Green Wave and improved their overall record to 12-11 and 4-6 in Conference USA play.
Cougs welcomed in crosstown rival Rice into Hofheinz Pavilion, in a game in which the Cougs would never trail. Leslie Mason with the steal after Rice tries to save it, led to an easy layup. Then Courtney Taylor up ahead to Brittany Mason, finds an open Brittany Scott for 3. Then Taylor hits the 3 after the defense slacks. Houston would start on an 8-0 run. Then, heads-up play by Button. She realized she can't get to it, can't control it, off the Al player. On the ensuing play, Button would hit the jumper, Cougs would go into halftime with a 29-19 lead. Second half was all about Porsche Landry. Got to the basket at will, shot 9 of 15 from the floor, and finished with 20 of her 22 points in the second act. Houston would go on to blow out the crosstown rivals by 20, 71-51 was the game.
The girls hope to continue their undefeated streak coming into the game against the East Carolina Pirates. The girls were a perfect 10-0 in Conference USA play coming into the game. The women took full advantage of the national TV coverage by playing on ESPN2 to reach the 20-win mark for the first time since 2005. Brittany Scott led the team with 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists, while Porsche Landry scored 16 points and had 7 rebounds. The game started off with 2 defensive rebounds and a putback, and the Cougs only surrendered the lead once against ECU. The final score was 77-60, with the Cougars extending their perfect streak in conference play to 11-0.
All right, let's go to break. When we come back, we'll come back with a commentary where me and Mason will talk a little bit about UH sports, and we'll also send it out to Priscilla Riojas for the UH Fan Zone.
Welcome back. All right, Robert. The football schedule was released earlier this week. You got UCLA as a season opener, Rice coming into Robertson Stadium, East Carolina. What are some of the games that you're looking forward to on that schedule?
UCLA being our only BCS team, we have to win and we have to beat them bad to have any consideration at being BCS busters. The Bayou Bucket's always a big game. I'm glad it's here at home. We need to get the Bayou Bucket back after that heartbreaking loss last season.
Yeah, that was tough.
ECU, perennial contenders to win CUSA, so
Yeah.
if we can beat them, we can pretty much beat anybody in our
Yeah,
conference.
they're constantly right there near the top in the East. But back to that UCLA game, is beating them enough of a resume? And then say they do go undefeated. Do you think that's a resume enough to get to a BCS game? Because UCLA, they had what looked to be a good win over Texas last year that ended up being, pretty mediocre after it was all said and done. I don't know if that's going to be enough to propel us up into one of those BCS games.
Well, here's the thing. UCLA will play Oregon on their schedule. Oregon's coming off that loss in the national championship this year. They want to do big things next year. They kept most of their core, so they should be competitive. They'll also play teams like USC, Arizona. Those are always good teams that look good in the BCS standings. So you never know. If we go undefeated, we could always sneak in.
Yeah, tough games for them. If they lose those tough games, that only makes them appear weaker and really puts the hit on our resume, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, and we really don't have anything to fall back on. Our next
when you
big
schedule
game would
teams
be
like Georgia State, you're pretty much putting all your eggs in the UCLA basket.
Yeah, and UTEP would be the next biggest game at UTEP. After that, it's a lot of nothing at Tulsa, too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's looking tough for the football.
I mean, the non-conference schedule is not what you need to get to that next level. North Texas, Louisiana Tech, Georgia State, a new school, I think just recently got a football program. The scheduling, non-conference-wise, not where it needs to be if you're going to keep taking that next step and looking for that invitation to one of those bigger conferences.
Yeah, it's not going to help at all. I think we should have probably put in a Texas Tech again, a big-name school, LSU, right across the state lines, something big to attract more attention to our football team.
I figure you got to have at least 2, maybe 3 BCS teams on a non-BCS schedule if you're going to take that next step, like a TCU or a Boise, and get to those big-time bowl games. That's where the money's at, and I think that's what we're trying to go after.
I think our athletic department should put in that call to TCU, who said they'll play anybody. So let's see if it happens.
They'll fill up Robertson Stadium pretty quick if that one goes down. All right, looking at the rest of the schedule, how winnable are these games, conference-wise? Conference-wise.
Conference-wise, we got we got most of our team coming back. Of course, we get Case back for that big 6th year. He's going to want to go after a Heisman. You know, anything could happen. They could go undefeated. They could win the CUSA title and compete in a big-time bowl. It's just that non-conference schedule that kind of screws up.
The non-conference game. The conference-wise, the schedule looks pretty good for UH. Only real tough road game is at Tulsa. Tulsa's usually right there in the West, gunning for it for a chance in the conference championship. Other than that, you get most of your tough games at home. East Carolina comes in. Marshall, it's a back and forth between those two teams. I mean, other than that East Carolina game, Rice, you're obviously going to be a big game. Rivalries could go either way, but it's a pretty favorable schedule for the Cougs.
Yeah, but I know the guys can handle it. They'll bring us back to national limelight like we were a couple years ago.
All right, another question for you. Women's basketball rolling, dominating conference play, but are you sold that this team could make some noise in the NCAA tournament?
They're rolling over CUSA like they're not even there. It's not even funny.
Aside from that SMU game where it took a ridiculous comeback in the closing seconds, right?
A win's a win. You'll take them any way you can get.
Exactly.
Our two ranked opponents that we played in the non-conference schedule, we lost to, and we lost to by big margins. That's going to hurt us. It's hurt us in the voting. The women are still trying to sneak into that top 25
still
national.
just outside the poll. See, that's what concerns me about this team. Granted, it was back in December when they lost to the two teams they played in the top 25 poll. Marist, they lost, I think, by 8. Then Georgetown comes in to Hofheinz. They lose by 40. I don't know if any team that's going to make a big push in the tournament loses by 40 to anybody, much less a middle-of-the-pack top 25 team like Georgetown.
Okay, you know how the tournament works. The girls could pull up a big upset here and there, get rolling, and before you know it, we're in the Final Four.
That's true. It does seem to be who's playing the best basketball at the end of the season, not necessarily who's played best overall.
All right, well, let's go out to Priscilla Riojas in the UH Fan Zone.
Hey fans, Priscilla Riojas here, bringing you another edition of Fan Zone, straight from the action here at Hofheinz Pavilion. So let's hear what you have to say. Hey fans, we're here with Josh. He's a sophomore at U of H. So Josh, the football season schedule just came out for 2011. What games are you most excited to see?
Well, I'm most excited definitely for our revenge game with UCLA. I'd really like to stick it to them here at home after what they did to Case, so it'd be nice to see them, defeat them here.
All right, thanks. Hey fans, we're here with Dusty. So Dusty, what is your favorite thing about coming to U of H sports games?
Well, my favorite thing with sports games is definitely just the opportunity to be at a place like this. Not a lot of places you can go with your student ID and get in free really is a great deal, especially with basketball. Not a lot of people know this, but we have more Final Fours than any other team in Texas combined. We have 5 Final Fours. Texas only has 3. UTEP has 1. Baylor has 1. We have more Final Fours than all those teams. We are the basketball powerhouse in the state of Texas, and it's taken a while, but Coach Dickey's going to get us back there. We need everybody in the stands. Please, come on. If you're a commuter, you live on campus, I don't care. Please, get to these games, get loud, get on your feet, stand up. I promise you, it's going to be a great time. Whose house, Cougs house? Let's go!
Hey fans, we're here with Jason. So Jason, how big of a U of H sports fan are you?
The biggest sports fan of all.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much are you?
Well, I would say, do you know Mike Brown, the other big red hat guy? My hat's bigger. Yeah, that's how much spirit I have.
Can you give us a big go, Cougs?
Okay.
I'm gonna stand out of your way here.
Whose house? Whose house? Whose house? Whose house? Whose house? Whose house? Whose house?
Wow, thank you. You have the most spirit I've ever seen.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, well, that's all the Fan Zone from Hofheinz. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, thank you, Priscilla, and thank you all the UH fans out there who joined us. When we come back, we'll see my interview with Samal Nixon, so don't go away.
right, welcome back. Now we'll send it out to Robert Guerrero, who caught up with Zamal Nixon in our Cougar Corner segment.
Hey guys, I'm here with senior guard Zamal Nixon. Zamal, real quick question, why'd you choose U of H?
There was a lot of things that drew me to the university. At the time, the coach that was here, Tom Penders, he was recruiting me, and I really fell in love with his style of play. As far as basketball concerned, U of H has a really good school academically, and the city of Houston is a really nice place. There's a lot of things to do outside of basketball, so all of those things drew me to the university.
You're from Brooklyn, Mo's from New York. Is there like a special bond between you two guys?
There actually is. Me and Mo been knowing each other since we were about 16 years old. We played AAU basketball together, so we've had a good bond, and I think me being here is part of the reason why he decided to come and join the university.
You were listed as coming out of a high school in Brooklyn called Boys and Girls, home of the Fighting Kangaroos. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
I only went there 1 year, so I don't know too much history behind the kangaroo, but that was definitely our mascot, so we had to be proud of it.
You guys have hit a little bit of a slump here as of late. What are your expectations for the rest of the season?
I think most definitely what everybody wants to do is just finish out the season strong, is winning as many games as we possibly can. Like you said, we are in the slump, but we have been doing some things well. We've been right in the middle of all those games with chances to win, so we just got to do a better job executing down the stretch, and we'll be all right.
You're a 91% free throw shooter. How'd you get so good behind the line?
I think the biggest thing with free throws is just routine. Over the summer, I've just been working on doing the same thing every time from the free throw line, and I just keep doing my same routine every time, and my free throws been going in.
All right, you also lead the team in steals and assists. What do you think is your greatest accomplishment?
I'd say the assist column, because I think when I first got here, a lot of people didn't think I could really be effective at the point guard position. But I think after the way I've been playing this year, a lot of people will respect me more as a point guard.
All right, Zamal, now tell us a little bit more about what you do here academically.
Academically, I'm a sociology major. I'm pretty much finished up with school. I won't graduate exactly in May, but I'll be done after I take 1 or 2 classes in the summer.
That's good. Why'd you choose sociology?
It's just something I was interested in out of all the other studies that was here when I first got here.
What's your favorite class you've taken so far?
My favorite class, there was a dance class I took in the summertime, and that was actually pretty cool. It was a lot of women in the class, a lot of music. You get to be yourself. So I think that was one of my favorite classes since I've been here.
Did that go to your degree?
It sure did.
That's a good class for your degree, man. What's your greatest academic achievement?
I got a B+, and that may not be much to many people, but there was this history class, and man, it was really tough, and not too many other players on the team did too good, and I was able to pull out a B+, so that was probably my best accomplishment here so far.
That's really good, man. What are your plans after U of H?
After U of H, I want to see how far I can take this basketball, and then, after that, then who knows what can happen.
All right, now just for some random questions, what's your favorite NBA team?
Los Angeles Lakers.
Favorite player?
Kobe Bryant.
Makes sense. Why do you wear number 2?
Because we didn't have number 11 at the time when I wanted to come, so I just added 1 and 1, and I got 2.
All right, it's February, Valentine's month. What's your favorite romantic comedy?
I don't have one, actually, so I really don't know too much about the romantic films.
What's a song on your iPod you'd be embarrassed for other people to find?
I'm not embarrassed by anything on my iPod. I think everybody could get with the music that I listen to.
What's something that people probably wouldn't think you had on your iPod?
A lot of the R&B that I have, that new Carrie Hilson, Pretty Girl Rock. I listen to that a lot. People probably wouldn't agree with that because I'm a male, but I listen to all types of music.
We interviewed Nick Haywood, and he said the same thing. Pretty Girl Rock. Y'all must jam that before the games or something.
Man, I didn't know anybody else on the team even listened to that, because when it's on I got the big Dre Beat headphones, and when the Pretty Girl Rock comes on, I kind of turn it down so nobody else on the team knows I'm listening to it.
What gets you pumped up for the game?
For the game, I like to listen to J. Cole, Drake, those 2 artists. Anything that they put out, I can listen to that before the game.
All right. Of these three dances, which one do you think you can do better? The Macarena, the Dougie, or Soldier Boy?
Oh, I could do the Dougie, hands down.
Can you show us?
I don't want to show
You
you
don't
on
want-
camera.
All right. I'm with Samal. Samal, keep doing your thing. Good luck the rest of the season,
All
man.
right. No problem.
Good job, Robert. I didn't know Pretty Girl Rock was so prevalent in the basketball locker room.
Yeah,
seems to
it
be.
seems to be going around that locker room. It's catching like
Come
polio or something. I don't
Come
know.
on, fellas.
Um,
y'all gotta pick it up. There's better stuff out there than
He
that.
can admit that, but he couldn't dance. That's kind of weird. So, but thanks, Samal. That was a great interview.
All right, that'll do it for us. Next week, we're mention highlights from men's basketball taking on SMU and UAB. The women battle UTEP. Softball faces off with Oklahoma State, Nicholls State, and LSU. Baseball gets started against UT Arlington, SFA, as well as Ole Miss.
And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter, where we'll post trivia questions where you can win great prizes. We'll also post our schedules for Fan Zone, so you can go out and talk to Priscilla and have your voice heard. Until then, I'm Robert.
I'm Mason. Don't just sit there.
Get in the game.